Hello, Matt's here for Sonicstate, and today I'm going to be making a track from scratch using nothing but Elmyra 2 and Scrooge by Neutral Labs. So only using these as the sound sources, I'm going to try and extrapolate as many different kind of sounds, sequences, pads, basses, weird noises, anything that I can get out of these in order to create a track. So for those of you who don't know, Elmyra 2 is a hybrid analog and digital synthesizer, complete with 4 voices, can fit into Eurorack or can be in this USB powered case. It's semi-modular with loads of different patch points. You've got a choice of filters that you can choose from. It has its own LFOs, includes a built-in delay and sequencer, and is designed to make everything from like lush ambient pads all the way through to just weird and crazy sounds. Scrooge is exactly the same size, can also be powered from Eurorack or from within its case, and is much more focused on rhythmic elements and percussive sounds. It really prides itself on being glitchy and kind of a little bit broken in places, and is made up of 5 analog voices. You've got individual voice outputs, inputs, it includes parameter locking, and you can also use these 3 dials here to tuning and add modulation in a variety of ways. It has, of course, an onboard sequencer and can also offer you random generation of patterns. And it also has 2 modulation tracks and 2 CV inputs. These are not your regular 4-voice poly or your regular drum machine. Think of Elmyra 2 along the lines of the Lyra 8 by Soma, in that it has a more experimental character. It invites you to explore sound in different ways to a traditional synth. You can activate sounds by touchpads that generate analog envelopes. It has 31 modulation targets, and its complex oscillator engine provides you with the ability to create everything from drones through to chords, as well as microtonal compositions. And Scrooge moves away from the traditional drum machine through a focus of malfunction and glitchiness. Think of this as your studio's best malfunction generator that boasts an organic and unstable quality. You still get parameter locking per step, you get modulation tracks, generative algorithms, and effects that can all be combined to create complex rhythms and a wide range of sound design. It's fair to say that both of these sit within a highly interesting arena for niche, esoteric instruments that provide you with something much more than your standard run-of-the-mill synths and drum machines. So let's see what these weird and wonderful devices can do. Okay, so here we are. We've got Scrooge, we've got Elmyra. I have got a clock coming from my DAW, just going into Scrooge. That clock is being fed into Elmyra. I don't really know where this is going to go. This is more about, I'm just going to explore some sounds, record it in, chop it up as we go along. So let's start with Scrooge, I suppose. I mean, it's not fair to call this a drum machine. It is a kind of rhythmical machine. Works very well with kind of glitching and things like that. Let's go to the first voice and let's put in some 4 to the 4 here, turn that up. And as you can hear, got this quite enormously distorted kick drum in a way, and we can play around with the modulation here using these 3 dials. So, you know, per step as well, we can record that in. So like the actual length of a particular note could be different steps as well. So I'm just recording this into my DAW as I'm going along, and we can also play around with like the envelope shape as well, so we can make things kind of fade in and fade out. So this one's got a different shape to the others, and we've got these 2 parameters per channel as well, which are worth playing around with because you can kind of finesse what's going on in there. So that's quite nice beat. I can imagine some like echo on that might be quite nice. Let's bring in some other sounds as well. So let's go to voice 2 here, and I'm just jamming. Let's just put some sounds in here. got these nice big faders so we can set our levels easily. Yeah, quite like that already actually. Yeah, I'm just going to leave that one on like that. Why not? Let's bring in third voice. I think this one's more kind of focused on being a snare in a way. So. Bit obvious. And maybe we'll shape that a little bit more. Let's see what we can pull out of this snare. And there's again, let's play with a note length. That's quite cool. Yeah, we'll take that. One of my favorite things to actually do is play around with ratcheting as well. So, oh, sorry. Maybe we'll ratchet that note as well. There we go. And we'll ratchet that. Let's make that note. Let's make this note. Oops, sorry, my fat fingers. I'm turning off steps here. Let's put that note in. There we go. Right. I've got a long length on that one. Let's make that ratcheting really different speed like that. Cool. We're getting somewhere. Right, we've got 2 more voices yet. So let's go to voice 4. Let's just turn those down a second so we can hear that one a bit more. This one, oh, send it out of the output. We've got 2 outputs that we can choose from, A and B. So you could send them to either of those outputs. So you could have one output going to an effect unit or something like that. Just using output A here. It's quite interesting. Again, we can maybe change the envelope shapes of some of these, which might be quite interesting to play around with. Oh, I've got that on. I'm on shift there. Oh yeah. That's pretty juicy. I like that. This one, I believe this voice is a bit more of, I think of it like a bass line kind of vibe. But I think that might work well with the kick drum actually. So what we got there, 1, 5. Let's just copy that 4 to the floor there. I'll just program it in, just as quick for me. I can sit that underneath that one, and I can play with the length of some of those notes as well from this channel. I love the way you get these little LEDs as well to show you what's being played and how long the note is. That's a really, really nice touch. I like that. It's interesting. And maybe just last. Maybe I'll make this note long and again do some more ratcheting on there. Nice, okay. Cool. Let's record that down. Actually, just before I do that, I'm going to use this control all function, which is really nice because you just put that on, and now anything you do here is affecting everything. So we can now make everything really long steps or really short steps, in fact. That's quite nice, isn't it? Something nice going on there. can even have like ratcheting on everything as well at the same time. You get this kind of staccato, broken sounds going on. We can even change the envelope shape of everything. And we can then turn that off and go back to where we are. So we can activate that, make it go wild, and then back to where we were. Cool. Let's record that in. Have a little chop up of that. Okay, let's move over to Elmyra 2 and let's, I don't know, let's try and make a bass line here. Just got the drums that I just recorded in, just got a kick and a hi-hat, just giving us something there. Now with the Elmyra 2, we've got 4 voices here, which we can independently tune, and we've got filter cut off. We can trigger these independently. We've got modulation over them, so we can sculpt each of those different sounds as well. So I guess I want to get kind of bass sound from this. So I'm going to stay, I think, on this red one here, which is like a detune. Gives us a bit of detuning going on. Actually, no, I might go over to pink, which gives us, there we go, just take drums out a second. So that gives us a bit more, yeah, a bit more rounded. It's quite nice. I'm going to put on chromatic tuning here, which will help us tune these. Nice. And then what I'll do is try and sculpt those sounds together. So for that one, press the PG button and then change that. In fact, oh yeah, I'll go back around to green, because I think that gives us a sub. Yeah, nice. So I could just take like one of the lanes, the first one if I want, and use that as a gate. So I don't know if you meant to do that, but it's audio, I believe, that I'm using here to open and close that. And let's take the second one, number 2, turn that up. So we're not hearing this, we're just hearing what it's doing on this particular, it is doing on the gate here. So let's go to voice 2. There we go. So we can hear that, what's going on there a little bit. So I'm recording this in. And one of the things might be interesting to do, because we're using this, we can actually change the track lengths as well. So if we hold that down, we go length of track, and at the minute it's 16. So if we make this, I don't know, 5. So that one's playing 5, this one's playing 16th, and you're going to get these unusual overlapping kind of rhythms going on now. And we could carry on this over for the other voices as well, I suppose. So that might be quite interesting to do. Why not? So let's put that gate into that one. Let's tune it. Okay. So that might be quite nice to put under, to put something over rather. All right. So I really want to play around with some chords on this. So in mint mode, there we go. Let's put it in tune with our track. Great, and now what I'll find is something that works across all 4 of these. These are all different chording versions that you can get by playing with the mod. Just took that resonance down. It was adding quite a bit of distortion. Maybe just while I've got those chords, what I might do is sort of play them again and take some of the modulation. So I've got LFO here, and maybe I'll send that into the WAV of that one. We've got LFO2 here, which you can change the speed. In fact, you can change the waveform of that particular one, and maybe we'll send that into the WAV of that one. And yeah, let's just see if I play. I use some of the delay there as well, so you can hear that. I'll just take that out so you can hear what these are doing. And I suppose there's nothing kind of stopping us from multing those as well. So we could mult that LFO to there and mult this one as well into there. So all the mods are being manipulated. Sounds like that one's actually changing. Oh, of course, because if we're changing the mod, we're changing we're changing actually what's being played in the notes. So once change, in fact, the WAV. Although that was quite interesting. It's not what we're after. We want to change the WAV. So we've got some movement now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to play that over the chords that I already have. Maybe with a really long envelope time. So I've got some delay on there as well. And I'll probably wash this one completely in reverb. Okay, that's all I wanted from that. I'll go in, edit that up, we'll come back. Okay, I absolutely love these chords that I've got going here from Elmyra 2. I want to add something more onto that. So I was just playing around with, again, using these outputs from the first 4 voices, taking those audio outputs and running them into the gate inputs for each of these voices here to trigger them. So we're not hearing the voices from here, we're just using those to trigger the voices here. Again, I don't know if you meant to do this, but that's what it sounds like. I'll just take the pads out for a second. And I've got it in the pink mode, so we can use this mod here for each one of them as a high pass, kind of low pass DJ filter kind of thing. and they complement that pad quite well, but I think they need to be in another octave, so we can actually go into our settings here and go 2, 3, 1, makes that another octave higher, 2, 3, 2, makes that another octave higher, 2, 3, 3, makes that an octave higher, 2, 3, 4 makes that, so they're all an octave high now. It's had a bit of delay. Nice. And because I'm using Scrooge here to trigger those voices, I can kind of bring some of them in and out. Turn the pads down a little bit. Which is quite nice. Let's use the LFO here and run that into the first mod of here. So it's effectively going to be changing the filtering on that, and we've got the second LFO as well, which I'll run into the mod of the second one. Just so we've got a bit of movement. And what I might also do is I'll take the envelope output of this one, so the envelope that's produced by that voice, and I'll run that into the mod of the fourth one. So now we've got this movement. Might even mult that LFO there, run it into the cutoff. We've got this nice movement. Nice. Change the WAV, which change the voice a little bit there. A bit of resonance maybe. In fact, we're not listening to the drums coming from here. I don't actually know what the drums would sound like if I turned the volume up for that, so let's have a listen. It's pretty cool. So I've got related drums playing to the voices that are being triggered. It's quite nice. Again, I don't know if you meant to do that, but it's something that I wanted to do. I really, for this making this track from scratch, I really wanted to not use anything else other than the Scrooge and Elmyra 2. So I could have used an external sequencer here. But I like using these together in this way and having these relationships between the rhythm and the melody. So great, I'm going to record that down into the computer and have a little play with that a little bit more. Cool. Okay, so Elmyra's actually got a built-in sequencer as well, which is pretty cool. And let's see if we can do something with that. We'll just use this voice here. I've just got the chords playing in the background. I think that's about right in terms of tuning. I've got this on the green mode, which gives us a sub-octave there if we want it, which is nice. Maybe we'll try an octave up on that one. 2, 3, 1. Okay, cool. So in terms of recording something in on the step sequencer, well, it's receiving a clock, so that's where it's getting its timing from. So in order to record anything, basically we go into record mode, and then basically we turn this and we hit record, and it puts in the pitch wherever we put it. So what we have to bear in mind is that it is kind of like I guess like an SH1 sequencer. So we turn it to the pitch that we want. Let's start there, for example. So if I want to have a long note on that one, maybe I'll hit it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then maybe I'll go down to there and hold that on a note for maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 again. And maybe to there for 1, 2. And then maybe 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe there, 1, 2, 3, 4. And back there, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we hit play. Not hearing anything because we need to trigger it. You can just put this into sustain mode. So it'll just play that back for you. But what I've actually done is synchronized the LFO here. This LFO2, I've actually synchronized that to the clock over here. So I can use that as a gate. Let's turn that back up. Take it out of drone mode. And we get that. And because this is it's kind of clock multiplying, if we go there, it's twice as fast, I think. So yeah, that's pretty cool. We can kind of use that to trigger that gate. Bit of resonance. Nice. In fact, what I might do is mult that to the cutoff. And yeah, we could modulate maybe the WAV there. Take that from LFO1. Slow one, a bit more delay. Could be quite cool. Let's try a different octave. Cool. And we could have actually a different sequence on each of these voices and have them all playing back together, and you could I suppose mult that gate. Yeah, cool. Okay, so I'll record that in and give that a chop up, put that into the track as well. Cool. I was just listening to what I still had here over on Scrooge and got this really cool, really low end, gnarly kind of, listen to that on its own. And that's meant to be the kick track, which of course, I mean, listen to it, it's cool. So, and that just works. It kind of really fills out a space in this track. So I'm recording this for sure. so you can hear. Cool. So definitely going to put that in the track. That's going in. Okay, I feel like we need some snares. So this is kind of the snare kind of voice. And again, let's maybe make some of those longer. And yeah, maybe we'll ratcheting again. That depends on how long you've got this particular step going for. So the longer you hold it, the more that ratcheting you get with the fade out as well. So we'll have that, that's cool. Let's go to the next voice. Oh, okay. This thing just kind of throws surprises at you sometimes, and it's like, oh, okay, right, let's go with that then. So playing with the kind of envelope and the length there, and sorry, and maybe again ratcheting. It's kind of nice. I think that can go in the track. Nice. And in fact, one of the things that we can do is, if we want to take advantage of the audio input of this, we can go out of Scrooge and into here. And we can then take advantage of, turn that up, gate, the bite and the choke here. Which offers this kind of, I don't know, the bite is like this raucous distortion, and the choke kind of, it's kind of almost like interacts with a filter, but also it's like it takes away some of the voltage from the main output and just makes it suffocate, hence the name choke. Just breaks it up. And these can be quite nice together, you know, so using this kind of now almost as an effects unit for this. And it does also come with these 4 different cards here which you can plug in and kind of manipulate the way that these interact, so that's pretty cool. So okay, we've got that. Let's go to the next voice, voice 5. This is like meant to be more like the bass line kind of vibe. Okay, so let's go back and let's work with the percussion a little bit more here on voice 2. And make some of these longer. Oh, got working on ratcheting there. quite nice. Cool. So we've got some more hi-hats and things to throw in there as well. A bit more sound design. So let me put that in the track, see where that goes. Again, I'm going to use Scrooge as a sequencer here rather than use my DAW. And I'm just going to take this first voice, which is playing again 16th. So we're not listening to this, we're using the audio from this to trigger the gate of this. And this is like the detuned kind of waveform. But I think if I go to green, we get a sub there in addition. So let's put that in a track, let's edit that up and see how that sounds. Nice one.